9 EastEnders spoilers for next week, 28th April to 1st May. Third team win. Teddy comes up with a plan. This week, Nicola discovers that the site Teddy and Junior are redeveloping is Paradise Park, where her henchman Benji buried Shireen Bashar, Harry's ex-girlfriend, who disappeared years ago. Benji reveals he buried Shireen with Nicola's bracelet as insurance, in case she ever tried to pin the blame on him. Nicola tries to hire Ravi to move the body, but he backs out when he learns the details of what he'd have to do. When Teddy overhears their conversation, Nicola is forced to tell him the truth about her part in Shireen's disappearance. Teddy insists they tell Harry the truth, but Nicola reminds him it will send their son off the rails. Teddy reluctantly agrees to keep the revelation between them. Later, Barney notices something is wrong, and Teddy orders Nicola to stop telling her he has a plan. 2. Avani gets some bad news. Avani has had a tough few weeks, starting with a traumatic strip search, and later losing most of her friends when her dealers showed up at Amy's party at No 27. She agrees to Priya's suggestion to submit a formal complaint to the police, but Priya later receives bad news from Jack that the police won't pursue the complaint. While Avani hangs out with new arrival Joel at No 41, Priya decides to keep the police's decision from Avani, fearing the impact on her, and asks Amy not to tell her Priya later, heads to the police station to make another complaint, and Callum steps in when she loses her temper. Amy and Avani rebuild their friendship with Amy, revealing the truth. However, Avani confronts her family for hiding the truth from her and storms out. 3. Love is in the air. This week, Harry and Kojo form an unexpected alliance after Kojo secures a job at Mitchell's Autos. Initially amused by Kojo's direct approach, Harry is impressed by his car knowledge, leading to a successful trial shift and a permanent job offer. Next week, Harry, the self-styled Lothario, gives Kojo advice about dating as they try to chat up girls at Harry's barn. Harry later puts his skills to the test as he attempts to charm Gina, with whom he has had a tricky relationship, after witnessing her throw a brick through the window of No 25. Meanwhile, Johnny confesses to Elaine that he wants a serious relationship with Felix, initially awkwardly paired by Linda. They've since enjoyed some casual fun, but Johnny has now developed feelings. The question is, will Felix feel the same? 4. The Mitchells do a deal. On Tuesday, Teddy halts work at the Paradise Park site as he and Nicola call Benji back to discuss a deal. After a tense negotiation, Nicola decides that selling Harry's barn might be the only way to pay Benji for the job. However, Teddy quickly comes up with another solution. The following day, Nicola is left furious at how her ex-husband handled things, and as a result of their latest development, Teddy and Nicola are forced to navigate a very tricky situation. Things go from bad to worse later that day, as when Nicola is alone at Harry's barn, she finds herself ambushed by an intruder who has turned up to get revenge on Nicola. At base, Priya sees red, after all Avani has been through. Priya and Ravi try to cheer her up by inviting her for a takeaway at No 41. However, Avani has other ideas, and Priya ends up agreeing to make herself scarce, so Avani's friends can spend the evening at the house instead. Later on, Avani hangs out with Amy Denzel and Nugget at the house, but things soon go up a notch when Joel and Tommy arrive with a bottle of vodka. As the boys start drinking and things get lively, Tommy finds himself humiliated as the boys tease him about his lack of experience with girls. Joel then gives him some troubling advice. Is Joel about to be a bad influence on a fragile Tommy? Meanwhile, Priya and Ravi head to Harry's barn to give Avani some space. Unfortunately, when Callum arrives with his police mates, Priya sees red. As she lashes out at Callum and his colleagues, Ravi is forced to intervene. 6. Harry gets a win, as Johnny's left disappointed. With both Johnny and Harry pursuing dates, there are mixed results. Johnny is disappointed when he asks Felix out, as Felix reveals he's already got a date lined up for that night. Meanwhile, Kojo agrees to put in a good word for Harry with Gina. She's initially unimpressed, but after a chat with Harry, she eventually agrees to go on a date with him. The following day, Johnny is happy when he hears that Felix's date was a disappointment, and Felix agrees to spend the afternoon with him watching movies. Yet as they spend a flirty afternoon together, the rest of the nights crash in, just as Johnny is psyching himself up to ask Felix if he wants to make a go of things as a couple. On Thursday, Johnny finally lays his cards on the table with Felix. What will he say? 7. Joel steps in while Priya apologizes. As Priya wakes up hungover, following her altercation at Harry's barn, she faces more anger from her daughter after Avani learns about her tense altercation with Callum from the night before. Suki tells Priya she needs to take responsibility for her actions, so she reluctantly apologizes to Callum. She then finds herself inspired by some parenting advice from Yolande. However little does she know Avani is still spiralling, and she meets up with her supplier Declan in the cafe, where she tries to score some free weed. Declan refuses to give her any for free, prompting Joel to step in and pay for it. Joel throws Barney under the bus. After getting his hands on more weed, Joel later goes to find Avani again, wanting to arrange a get-together so they can smoke together. Later, Avani and Barney are hanging out at No 1 when Joel and Tommy arrive. Barney is upset that Avani invited them without asking him, and things soon go from bad to worse when Joel makes a disparaging comment about Avani after she leaves the room. Barney calls Joel out, but when Avani comes back into an awkward situation, Joel manages to convince Avani that Barney was in fact to blame, and Avani storms out later. While Avani and Joel smoke together, Joel makes a move on her. 9. Elsewhere. At the end of the week, Nicola faces a reckoning at Harry's barn. Plus Anna heads to the Albert as she attempts to mend her fractured relationship with Gina.
Các bạn vừa theo dõi một sản phẩm của EastEnders Spoiler TV. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại các bạn